Moondrop Sparks TWS. General information: Sparks is the first true wireless earphones from Moondrop. It retails for $89.99 at the time of this listing. Pros: W-shaped sound signature, great detail retrieval for a TWS, sub-bass emphasis, staging and tonality. Price and design. Cons: not so responsive touch controls. Introduction. Moondrop Sparks is the budget TWS offering, and this is their first ever TWS release. The Sparks might seem lighter in terms of price, but they sound way above the price point. They have crafted this TWS in a unique way and have given the special dynamic driver beryllium-coated dome with PU suspension ring. Moondrop is known for their in-house warm and smooth sound, which also attains that Harman target, which I'm not a big fan of. But the Sparks is an example for the exception, where this sounds fantastic, and in this review let's check out the sound in detail. Specifications. Frequency response, 20,000 Hz IEC 60,318 4-driver unit, 6mm dynamic driver. Housing material, ABS/PC. Diaphragm, beryllium-coated dome plus PU suspension ring. Driver coil, 0.035mm Ca. Magnetic circuit, MC improved high-efficiency magnetic circuit plus N52 neodymium magnet. Acoustic filter, patented anti-clogging filter. Bluetooth version, Bluetooth 5.2. Audio transmission formats, APS adaptive/APS/AAC/SBC. Battery capacity, earphone 50 mAh, charging case 700 mAh. Playback time, 8 hours on earphone plus 48 hours on charging case. Charging rating, 5 volts to 500 milliamperes. Operation, touch, light plus voice prompt. Bluetooth range, 10 meters. Supplier of Bluetooth PCBA, self-developed. Design and fit. The design of the Sparks is unique in each way. The case is made out of complete transparent plastic, and the good thing is that they possess that rubberized finish, hence no scratches, smudges, or fingerprints. The rubber coating also acts as a water repellent in some cases. The earbuds are made out of plastic too, which has that nice EM kind of design. The case lid has a nice satisfying click while closed and has a metallic hinge for longer durability. The case lid can be opened with a single hand and the branding is done on the top of the lid. The earbuds faceplate has a nice sparkling design which is also transparent, hence the charging LED tends to shine outside when it gets engaged. The LED in the case also shines outside when the earbuds are taken out and placed inside, indicating the charge status. The NFC tag is present in the back of the case, and Type-C port is provided in the back of the case at the bottommost portion. Overall, it has a solid build quality and a unique looking transparent design. The transparent lights may look flashy, but overall a very solid design and build. Sound. The sound signature of the Sparks is a W-shaped profile with one of the best in terms of technicalities. Initially, I didn't have any big expectations from this TWS because it's from the Moondrop, since I don't like most of their in-house sound profile, especially the Starfield. But after listening to this man, this thing is crazy sounding, and it became my favorite TWS. In this review let's dive into detail into why I consider this as one of the superior sounding ones in the market. Low end. The low end in the Sparks is well tuned, if not excellently tuned. The taste I prefer is more sub-bass than the mid-bass, cause this gives that nice rumble sensation along with some faster response and clear replay of the tracks. The same impression is seen in the Sparks. Sub-bass, it's just sweet. They are not overwhelming or underwhelming. Instead, this is the right spot for tuning. The rumble and the reach of the sub-bass are just marvelous. They did as deep as possible and gave that sensational rumble while still delivering that thumpy and tighter mid-bass, thus even if the track is heavily loaded with bass they don't sound muffled or congested. The replay of the tracks via the Sparks is just sublime. I haven't heard this kind of sub-bass in the wired earphones at this price point. In the track Why Do We Fall, Hans Zimmer, this is the track I used to test whether the earphone can dig deeper and bring out that very subtle presence of rumble. And surprisingly the Sparks did it very well with exceptional separation and control. Mid-bass, The mid-bass is at the right spot, which doesn't interrupt the midsection or make the low end muffled. The kick drums and the bass guitars are struck perfectly with excellent separation, control, texture, and tonality. The bass being precisely faster, the Sparks are easily able to manage the faster and complex tracks, keeping everything under control, like the control and separation. Mid-range. The mid-range is nicely tuned here. The graph shows some recessed mid-range, but frankly, the whole presentation is presented nice and forward. Both the vocals and the instruments are nicely placed on the stage where there is enough room in terms of width, giving a very spacious experience while listening. Most of the TWS struggles in the staging where they sound very closed or cramped, but that's not the case with the Sparks. The vocals have that natural tonality. They sound vibrant and have that hint of brightness that gives the vocals life. The 3K peak does help give life to the vocals, where that gives adequate brightness to the upper mids, thus the whole experience is lively and engaging. The energetic factor is fantastic in the Sparks, where even the most boring tracks appeared satisfying in the Sparks. The timbre of the instruments are organic and not metallic, giving a natural listening experience. The vocals have enough body from the mid-bass. They are not very thick, rather they are precise and adequate in quantity, thus the mid-range sound very cleaner, spacious, and well separated. The detail retrieval especially is fantastic for a TWS. They perceive even a minute detail in a track and replay it. The technical ability of this TWS is pretty comparable to a mid-tier audiophile grade EM. Tracks used: Yeah Sorry Bot, Rochak Kohli. Red, Taylor Swift. Treble. The treble in the Sparks is excellent. The TWS previously I have ever tried tend to lose in this region, where they sound too sharp or very dull. The Sparks just set a benchmark for the TWS, where this thing just sounds sublime with a gracious amount of air and separation in this area. Combined with that incredible wired level detail retrieval, this thing is just an MVP. First, the upper and the lower treble are equally balanced out, and the brilliance factor it brings out is impeccable, being a TWS. The sibilant is kept under control, hence no sort of harshness or hotness is seen during my listening. The sparkle in the high end is pretty evident, and they never sounded veiled or hazy. The highs extension is done very well, with one of the best in terms of detail retrieval and resolution in a pair of TWS. The cymbal strikes are pretty natural and smoother, with precise attack and decay. The trumpets and the stringed instruments have that organic timbre, giving this earphone a very natural sound. No sort of graininess is seen. Overall, the treble is one of the best in the TWS market and comparable to that of the mid-tier wired EMs. Tracks used: Something Happened on the Way to Heaven, Phil Collins. Dreams, Fleetwood Mac. Jack of Speed, Steely Dan. Technicalities. Soundstage: the staging of the Sparks is wide and deep. The height may not be the expressive factor, but the width is above average for a pair of TWS. The vocals, however, are presented in an intimate manner, but the instruments in the background are separated nicely and wide. The depth of the staging is great too, and thanks to that excellent sub-bass response which made the whole listening experience 3D, hence the holographic staging is absent here. Imaging: the imaging is pretty precise too, where the instruments can be easily pointed out even in the busier and faster tracks. The transient response in the instruments sweep from one channel to the other is smooth and neat. There is no point imaging, hence the response seemed very smooth and clean. Tracks used: Crossing, Yoshi Horikawa. Hideaway, Jacob Collier. Battling Muskox, Jacob Shea. Other features: Calling: the call quality is good enough and the receiver didn't have any issues while speaking, and the voice can be heard very clearly without any issues. In noisier surroundings the call quality tends to be slightly worse, but that's the case with most of the TWS in the market out there. Battery life: 8+48, and the claimed value is more or less achievable with the volume at 50 to 60%. Volume: thankfully there is a lot of headroom available for volume, and normally I tend to keep only at 40% indoors and max of 60 outdoors. Pretty loud enough, and interestingly with iPhones the Sparks tend to push more volume. Verdict: Sparks, the first TWS offering from the house of Moondrop, is overall the best offering in the TWS market. The Sparks just blew my mind and expectations with its class-leading sounding in the TWS market. The whole presentation and the sound profile felt very grand. The sound is very good, where at one point you will start to think that the sound is too good being a TWS. The low end is deliciously tuned, where the sub bass has more presence over the mid bass, while the mid range takes the nice and center stage with wide instrument separation. The treble is as detailed as possible, yet they kept the sibilant under control. The brilliance and the sparkle in the Sparks are brought out excellent. The technicalities are the strongest aspect of the Sparks, where they just excel most of the EM and TWS in this price range. Other features like the call quality, which is pretty good, has NFC function, has various codec support like the Apps and Apps Adaptive 2. The app is messy and not baked well, but does the job by updating the firmware of the earbuds. The wireless charging and the ANC lack, but I never use those things in my routine. Overall, the Sparks is an absolute banger product for the money and set a new sonic benchmark for all the TWS in the market out there.